Vince. Welcome back.
What's going on, Yvonne? How's it going?
Good. Welcome back. Thanks for doing this again with me. You are now in Not Nosy, Just Curious podcast. And my curiosity is you, I've known you so long and you have been so grounding to me. I want to know, how do you navigate your anger, your just general cause and effect issues? You never get pulled into stuff. How do you do that?
It was a process. It's it can be done by anybody. Those that are listening, but it's a lot of introspective work. Realizing that anger is a calling. It means something to you. The reason you're angry, you're threatened, or you're disappointed about an outcome. But what you have to realize, the first thing about anger is that you can't really act out on it. It's no real benefit. It's just a calling to wake you up, to kind of redirect you. I didn't come to this until later in life. Probably golf was my first teacher, in that I had to calm myself down if I hit a bad shot to get ready to hit that next shot. I had to be in a good mental space. So when I realized that my life mirrored golf, I started to look to golf, to restructure my life in a way that I did my golf game and manage my anger. So you have to manage it first. You have to recognize it and manage it.
So how come you can manage it and most people can't?
Like I said, it's been a process. I wasn't always like you think I am, and I still have my moments. But before I get too far down the road, being anger slave, I try to rethink. I'll talk to a friend like you. How our work can be stressful, and sometimes things can you need to vent. I'm learning about venting too. Sometimes they say that's not the best way, but I think that's a good short-term solution when you find yourself getting angry, to talk to a friend. So that's what we do. That's why we became such good friends, and we'll stay good friends, and hopefully everybody has a friend.
So when you find yourself getting angry, you find this is a positive almost.
It can be, yeah, because it's something that you care about. Either you're angry about something that somebody said, but when you turn that around, you really realize that their opinion of you has no effect on you. You know who you are. They don't, obviously, because they're saying all these angry, hurtful things. And you really know if you really know yourself, you know that that's not you. It hurts for the moment, but when you really realize it, and as soon as you realize it, somebody else's anger, that's first thing. You can't let somebody else's anger trigger your anger.
So do you think anger and hurt feelings go hand in hand?
They can, if you go toe for toe. If you try to be as angry as the person that is angry at you, it can be, because you're going to go over the top, because you're going to try to protect yourself. But really, I think the best safeguard to protecting yourself is realizing that whatever they're accusing you of is not the case. You know yourself. So that's where the introspection comes in. Also meditation with the introspection. I spend quite a bit of time or have throughout the years. I give myself a little time to myself, via meditating or just relaxing or reflecting and getting to know myself. I think kind of helps squash.
Fairly new new path that you've paid is this meditating. You didn't always do that. That's something you just started doing in the last, 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, well, I use the term meditation loosely, just some quiet time. I don't know if I'm using any particular method of meditation. It's just more introspective, but I've always been, kind of had that, just like even golf, for example. I started playing golf by myself. I've been playing 50 years. In the last few years, I've been playing by myself. So it gives me some introspective time to to work those things out on the golf course, and then I bring what I learned maybe to my life in situations. But
So in managing all of that, have you learned to love yourself more?
yes, loving and respecting yourself is a key thing. That way, uh, you know that anger isn't you, right? So, I mean, we know that that's just a emotion that rises in us. So when you know and respect yourself, you don't act out on that because you know that's not your first. You know you're not that most of the days. That's just a situation. So you try to not to act out on that. As best you can.
So do you think people that are constantly angry and aggressive just don't like themselves, or their life is just that miserable?
Yeah, it could be a combination of a lot of things, but times are stressful now, and old things come up, that you just old emotions come up and you react because that's the way you're used to reacting. All I'm saying is everybody can retrain themselves to not react the way um, that anger directs you. So you can redirect anger. Here's the thing that I'm working on right now, for example, and it's really deep. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this guy I listen to, he's a metaphysician, and his thoughts are that life really has no meaning. You give life meaning. And what that means to me, and the way he explained it, is that we've been taught that if it rains, it's bad. It's an ugly day. Doesn't have to be. I mean, that's just the way we've been groomed. Okay. We've been taught that it's a sunny day. It's a good day. And yeah, that's, more probably the case. But you can make a great day out of a rainy day, metaphorically, even in your life,
So simply put, Vince, life is what you make it.
pretty much. Because if you don't go with the stereotypical things or ways that we've been taught, you can turn that thing around. I mean, is every rainy day a bad day in your life? In retrospect, no, right? So, yeah, I'm just saying you give life that meaning, or you can make it dreadful if you wanted to go down that path, but you don't have to. You don't have to if you have a situation. You don't have to react that same way every time. You can react any way you choose. You have choices. So that's basically what that
Choices, right?
right, right.
But such a simple word for such a big meaning. Choices.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
when we choose, like you're saying, I like what you said, Vince. We've been taught that a rainy day is a bad day. We've been groomed and taught for so many years to feel these certain ways. To make a choice to feel differently is such a practice. And I've always said that you are so practiced.
yeah, yeah. It doesn't take any. So if you sat around and say it rained every day this week, and you sat around and moped about it, right? And then it rains that seventh day. Aren't you tired of moping? Wouldn't you want to practice feeling some other way about a raining day? Whatever it is you did, I mean, but you wouldn't want to mope, right? So you would try something different. And so that's all I'm saying. Just don't condition yourself to old responses all the time. You're going to have enough of the time where you're going to do that because, I mean, it's just kind of the society's way, or the way you've been trained, but you don't have to live your life like you were a child. Like, I mean, you can change your mind to do anything you want to do. And if you want to be happy on a rainy day, hey, that's what you're supposed to do.
But that's a good point you make. If it's going to rain and rain and rain and you're moping and moping like myself, I give myself permission to mope and then maybe mope again, then maybe mope some more. And then finally I get tired of moping, right?
Yeah.
And choose to do something else. So eventually it gets tiresome. So how come people who they're choosing, Vince, to be negative all the time, don't get tired of it?
Well, it's habitual, but then too, you have to redefine the term habit. And the same guy I'm listening to, he's telling me, or he's saying, and it makes sense to me, a habit is no longer a habit once you recognize it as a habit, right? At that point, you're choosing to do that. See what I'm saying? So it's not a habit anymore because you've identified it. So you have to identify your triggers or your words or how you phrase things. So you could just fall in the back and say, "Oh, that's just the way it is. It's a habit." That's what I do all the time, and that's what a lot of people tend to do.
Right.
They just, and then they chalk it off as a habit. Like, I can't break it. Yes, you can, because, like he says, once you identify a thing as a habit, it's no longer a habit because it's a quote unquote habit. So it's not a habit, it's a choice. And you have a choice to not mope on a rainy day. So choose that.
But the choices to break the habit seem so much harder than acquiring the habit. Why is that?
Okay. Now I'm going to get you out of that rabbit hole.
Okay, get me out of there. Yeah.
Yeah. Now he says that people are afraid of the unknown. So you choose the familiar to mope on a rainy day. But he says that when you choose the unknown, all you'll find is more of yourself.
And so obviously you're afraid to find yourself. Are you afraid of what you might find, or will you be pleasantly surprised?
Well, you're probably going to be pleasantly surprised because it's more of yourself. And why wouldn't you want to know more of yourself? Hence the introspection. See what I mean? It kind of turns on itself when you look inside of yourself to find answers instead of being quote unquote habitual and moping and doing the same thing. Why not get introspective and find more of yourself? And it's going to be a good thing.
Want answers. They just want to be heard. They want to carry on. They want somebody to pay attention. They don't want answers, right? They're not coming when they're whining and carrying on. They're not coming to you for advice. They just want to go on and on and on and be just exhausting, right?
Yeah,
they're not looking for answers. How many times have you, with good intention, tried to give an answer that they're just not interested in hearing?
That's true too. I mean, everybody, has a choice to, turn things around and or stay on that same path. Some people kind of like that drama, or they don't want to get out of it like you might think they want to or should, or it might not be their time to, I don't know, but I'm just speaking on me when, I keep banging my head and getting the same result, in the same situation. I tend to look for something else. And like I said, I try self-discovery, looking within, I get my answers kind of that way, or or patience is another way. If you can't figure it out, a lot of times you can't figure it out. You just have to wait on the problem to vanish. I mean, the thing you was worried about yesterday, 99 times out of 100, it's not even going to cross your mind today. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, I know, everybody's got some bigger problems, but those take time. You can't figure them out in a day anyway. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So there's no sense in worrying about them or acting out on them until you can do something. The universe generally present a solution and within, time.
So do you worry? And if you do, how do you get yourself out of it? Remember, I told you that book I read where it said worry is a man-made emotion, because if you have faith, there's no reason to worry.
That's true.
What do you do, Vince? Do you worry, get yourself all knotted up about it, and then wait a day and it's over? Or how do you talk yourself out of the worry? How do you not just keep feeding into the worry?
Believe me, I'm human. So I'm not, everything I'm telling you, I don't have, down perfectly. In my best cases, I just recognize that I'm over worrying and that I haven't solved anything of worrying so long. A solution hasn't came. So I just kind of try to be quiet and go the other direction because, I see that worrying about it.
Consciously divert.
Yeah. I mean, because you have to take control of your consciousness at some point if it's not giving you results, right? I get worried. I worry about stuff. I mean, Yeah, I mean, I'm just like the regular person, but uh, when I keep going down that path and nothing's getting resolved through worry, at some point I will stop myself and either vent, talk to somebody, maybe they can come up with a solution for me, do some studying, some reading, or either introspect or wait or be patient.
So
I mean, those are my options pretty much. Those are my go-to things when I realize I'm worrying. Now, sometimes I don't realize I'm worrying and I'm gone, but most of the times when I'm in a negative or destructive or emotion I don't want to be in, if I kind of stop and be quiet, I can kind of stop the progression of you don't want the emotion to get momentum, you know.
now, do you ever ask for advice?
How often do I talk to you, Yvonne? You know I ask for advice.
No, Benny,
I
in
lean
general,
on you. Pernell's a very good friend, a very trusted friend, my brother.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I need you guys, sure. And hopefully everybody has somebody that they can get some sage advice from. Yes, I do.
You do.
Yes.
Okay. So,
Yeah. I'm not too proud. I don't try to do it all by myself because you're never in it alone. We're all here for each other.
but I
I had a
mean,
sit-
the worry changes as you get older. Like when you're younger, you worry, I don't know, you worry about nonsense. As you get older, you worry about retiring and what's going to happen next. And you just manifest all kinds of worry, Vince. I mean, I could worry probably myself to death.
Sure, sure. Yeah, you can spend a lot of time worrying and you can spend a lot of time doing something about it, or you can spend some time just waiting on the resolution, but if worry, let me ask you this. How many times has worry actually solved your problem?
No, no, never. It never has. But I just find myself worrisome here lately. And you're right. You have to divert and you have to find some other thought to grab a hold of.
And
But
I think, yeah,
it's
I'm
not
sorry.
good for
I
you.
just think all of those avenues are constructive. Again, I'm human, like in even the probably the gurus or the whoever, I mean, they probably, they don't just not have those emotions, they just work through them, kind of like as they come up, they just are more experienced with them. But you're gonna have some worry, but you just don't want to over worry or over, be angry, over, act out on your anger if you can use other avenues that are more constructive.
Yeah, and that's all great. But don't you ever find yourself getting angry that somebody got away their whole life with being useless and angry and entitled and I find myself getting like bitter against that person that they got to navigate their whole life in that angry. I know it's stupid. It's so stupid that I feel a certain way about that person, how they cheated themselves out of any kind of life by being angry, and yet they still thrive and they still get along and they still have a captive audience.
Yeah, well, everything that looks rosy or looks like they're getting away with stuff,
Those events, they're nasty people, but they have always been nasty people. Yet they're allowed to form friendships based on that nastiness, and they're allowed to navigate through life based on their nastiness with no regret or no consequence to their
yeah,
nastiness.
well, let me answer that, Yvonne. I mean, that's not a high form of friendship or a high form of functioning, although it looks functional. You would much rather have a pleasant relationship with your friends, like you and I have. An
Yes.
understanding, a loving, you know, um, thing. That's a higher vibrational thing. It looks like they're having fun, but they're not. Just like in our profession, it looks like when it's good times, it's good times, and when it's not, it's not. It's a lot of the emotional roller coaster there because there's no stability, there's no foundation. With our friendship, it's solid and it's based on a lot of good things. That's the longevity that you want in those things that matter. I think. You
No,
know.
no, that makes sense. It does. You're right. And I can't explain why I feel such bitterness to that person who has managed to navigate with such contempt their whole life and still have some network around them. They don't deserve the network. Or maybe, likes attract likes and that's what they got around them. But yeah, I don't know exactly how to say what I'm thinking here, but there's so many nasty people who have forged this relationship with a circle of friends that they don't deserve.
You wouldn't want to be in that circle.
Oh, no, no,
We vibrate on a higher thing, a higher thing, and we have more fun like we do on your boat. I mean, it's genuine, it's true. We all good friends. You invite all good people. The energy is good. You know, those things are, you know, and I know you're not, you know, I know what you're saying, because I feel that, and I can see that sometimes, but yeah, I don't think it has a lot of foundation. Those types of situations.
well, you know, and I think too, people don't respect friendships. They take them for granted. Friendships are work. They're just not there just because you want them there. You have to work at them. So, I mean, and when people say, "Oh, that's my friend," that's casual. I mean, friendships are work. They're a treasure.
Well, hey, you're asking me the things that you're asking me, but when we became friends, I came to you in one of my lowest times, and you picked me up, and really that was how we got off and running. You know, I mean, we were always cordial, but when I opened up and told you about my life and the things I was going through, I mean, you helped me. So that's what I mean. People have to have responsible, loving people that they can rely on to kind of help them out of situations like you did when, I was not, at my best.
But Vince, you said have to have. There are people who do not have to have that.
Um, yeah, I mean, I guess not. But then, I don't think they're operating at a really high frequency. I don't think that relationship or those things, they're not as stable as they appear to be.
Okay.
You know.
I know. Well, I just got to say, every time I'm in some sort of mucky muck or some quagmire or some pitiful sorrow, you have always talked me out of it. You have always given me a grounded perspective. You always have given me something to think about. And for that, I am grateful, Vince. And I want you to know that. And I know you're in a really good place. The girl you're with, I adore. So, in closing, Vince, give me something wonderful to close this conversation with.
Hey, just vibrate at your highest.
Honestly,
Always.
laws of attraction.
Yeah, yeah. I had Miss oh man, I can't think of the lady's name, but you would know her. I think Miss Joanne is her name, and we always have a great time when she's at work. I'm not going to say but anyway, I treat her the best, and she appreciates. We just feed off each other. And when she left my area yesterday, she said, "Hey, just treat everybody like you treat me." And it's an easy thing to say, but it's her vibe and my vibe too. And so when people are vibrating on their highest, I think it's the most enjoyable time ever. And that's what you and I do. We vibrate on our highest. So always try to send your vibration out as high as you can, and it'll attract light. That's basically my word.
Very simply put, but very powerful.
Yes.
I mean, not too many people can understand what she said to you, because that's not easy. It's not easy,
right?
Because of cause and effect and action reaction. And I find myself sometimes reacting badly.
Yeah, well, we all do. We are human, but I mean, you can always reconnect. That's the message. I do as well. I slip. I come in and I vent to you. You vent to me, and then I go back out and try it again. Vibrate high. You know what I mean? I'm not. I've had so much
successful at that. You have turned things around successfully numerous times.
And I've seen you do it. Time and time again. It's just a practice, and it's fun. You just have to be aware of it. That's all. It's nothing that you can't do. It's not. I mean, you can do that just as well as you can any bad habit or anything that you want to turn around. You just have to be mindful of it.
Mindful and choices. A lot of times I choose not to do it. I choose not to turn the explosive situation around because I'm not interested enough.
So do I do it,
Okay.
and
Yes.
when you don't turn the explosive situation, guess what? It explodes on you most of the time. So because you got the power, that you
Yes.
got the yeah.
I just figure in that case, I'm going to take my own advice and say nothing, get nothing, give nothing. You know what I mean? They got nothing. So it's perfect sometimes. Silence is perfect sometimes.
Oh, and that works too. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Gotta know when to execute it, but it's a great tool.
That's for sure. No
Yeah.
question.
So, all right, give me something. Say goodbye. Give me something good.
Hey, always keep your vibration high, and the highest things will come back to you.
I like that. That was good, Vince. All right, say goodbye.
All right. See you guys later. Take care,
All
Yvonne.
right,
All right.
bye.
Bye bye.